All right. Hey, I'm Andy Thompson, if you didn't know who I was. Just want to go through the installation of all the heads for the system. Each system that we send out, we send a set of directions to it. And what this indicates is where the heads for the system are being installed and the dimensions on from the end of your barn in between the two heads. It's very self-explanatory. There's a key at the bottom that indicates one of the pieces or where a piece goes on the system. So you'll have two pieces of PEX, 1/2 inch and 3/4. I'll send a different video that shows you how to stretch out the PEX so it comes out of a coil. All right, so basically what's going to happen is you'll have your PEX, you'll run it down the center of the barn, attach it to a water line, piece of conduit, something that you can zip tie the pipe to. You'll put them up at the same time. So once you get it spread out, then as you hang it, you'll just have them together and zip tie the pipes together to whatever you're attaching it to. So one of the important things, and it varies, so each farm's a little bit different, so I'm going to try to cover everything at once. For long barns where you have multiple grenades, like 4 or 5, you'll have to put a 3/4 inch T in your PEX. And this will be to bring the air in to the center of the air line and disperse it each way. On the liquid is done from whatever end where your pump's going to be. So the only thing that you're going to have to put the T in is the air line, unless you have an extenuating circumstance. So all of the fittings are basically the same, just different sizes. So in this case, there's a stop on each fitting, and that's how far you push the pipe onto the fitting, or you push the compression ring onto the fitting. So we have on the tool, we have blue, which is 1/2 inch, and green, which is 3/4. Super simple. You just unscrew one and screw the other one on. So we'll send one of these tools along with you. It'll be in a box, and it'll have a return label. So when you're finished, put it back in the box, put the label on it, and ship it back to me. So whether it's 1/2 inch or 3/4, there's a little lip on the fitting, on the compression ring. So you can only go on one way. So you're going to push it all the way on, whether it's 1/2 inch or 3/4. They'll only go on one way. So this is what it'll look like. So we already have 3/4 on the tool. So basically what you're going to do is take the expander, stick it in. You don't have to put pressure on it. You just let it feed in there. And it'll feed all the way to the end. So 3/4, it takes a little bit longer. And then you'll take your tool or your fitting and push it all the way on to the stop. Then what happens is this compression will ring will go back to its original size, and it'll be tight on your PEX. Once you put this on there, you cannot get it off. So once it's on, it's on. So if you make a mistake, you'll have to start over. And we have a few extra parts in each kit. If for some reason you would have a leak, the only thing that you need to do is just put a hose clamp around here, tighten it down, let it sit on there for a day or two, and then you can take it off. So that exercise with the fittings is the same, doesn't matter. So when you get your directions, you're going to want to lay out your pipe, mark where your heads are going to be placed and start to hang it up. You can hang your pipe and go back and cut your fittings in. I would recommend that you cut the heads in as you go. That way, if you need to move, you've got slack in the pecs. Otherwise, once it's in, you could have not enough length to, make the connection. So on your instructions, so we have on the ends, we have this made. And the reason we do this is because we're converting from 3/4 to half. And they don't make an elbow that goes 3/4 to half. So that's why you have this piece. So on here, this is the end for the air. And then in the center, you have a T, 2 T's in this case. And then at the other end, you have your other end. This part is very important. When you have your, this T that you're cutting in the air line so that the air goes both ways, make sure you mark the pipe. Which one is for the trunk line itself and which one is your air supply. You'll want to start at the far end, the opposite end of where your compressor is, when you start to put your pipe up. So you have the end, you put your end on, start working your way back. Once you get to the center, wherever that point is, then you're going to put this 3/4 by 3/4 by 3/4 T in that trunk line. And from there, you'll have 2 pieces of 3/4 plus a half. So you'll have that much pipe for half the barn. So you just want to make sure you know which one's the trunk line, because you do not want to cut your head into the wrong piece of 3/4. So we try to mark it as best we can, but it's just something that I want you to pay attention to. So, really self-explanatory. You have the tool. So you're going to put the 1/2 inch in as well. So as you hang it, cut it, do your 3/4 first or your half first. It doesn't matter. It's usually whichever one was left on the gun itself. And just run with it all the way till you get to the end, based on where your air compressor is going to sit. So once you've cut one in, so this is your air, 3/4. This is your half. So this is the head, right? And so all of them will come just like this. They'll already be pre-made to here. These are very easy to take off if you have to take it off. So you just push it in and hold on to that ring and pull it out. There's a lock on here, so once you put it in, you'll make the lock. Unlock it, push it in, pull it out. So this pipe, the 1/2 inch, or they're both 1/2 inch. So remember, you're going to hook up the air first, which is the 3/4. So the top of this moves around when it's unlocked. So you air. So you put it on the air, make sure it slides all the way down because it's going to touch the shoulder. And then put your 1/2 inch in, all the way in. And so that's what it'll look like hanging from the ceiling. Make sure that you have your valve open. So this is, if you had to work on it when it's hanging up, just turn the valve off and then you can shut the air off to it. On this, the liquid, we don't put a shut off. Once the air is shut off and you have the liquid off, then you just have a quick connect for the liquid side. And it just pops right on. Super simple. So that pretty much gives you an idea. It's just a matter of getting your fittings laid out. When we send the fittings, they'll come in a black bag and they'll all be labeled 1/2 inch or 3/4 what it is. So it's very simple to identify what's what. So get everything out of your bags, kind of figure out what you have, check it against your drawings. You shouldn't have any trouble. If you have any questions, please give us a call. Thanks.